Don't be quick to believe what people say. When a man is truly moved by you, he doesn't need to say much because his body, his eyes, and every little gesture already tell you how his heart is beating. Modern psychology shows the first, unconscious reactions when someone sees you are the truest signs of emotion. There is no prepared script, no role being played. Everything is the rawest response of a heart encountering the one it longs for. There are men who, their whole lives, are not good at expressing their feelings, but every time you appear, it's as if electricity runs through their body. Their mind loses control over what they show. Not because they're weak, but because they were caught off guard. If you've ever walked into a room and someone changed the moment they saw you, you need to read everything below because it's very likely that you're the one making his heart restless. You walk in, unannounced. He might be chatting, typing on his computer, or gazing off somewhere. But the moment his eyes meet yours, something shifts. The corners of his mouth curl up, as if your very presence just opened the door to let light into his day. This isn't a polite smile, nor a forced one. It's a completely instinctive reaction, like when someone sees something that makes them feel safe, at ease, and even slightly in awe. His eyes narrow slightly, they light up, and his face relaxes without trying. Psychology calls this the dopamine response, when the brain senses that a reward is coming, and that reward is you. If you've ever caught someone smiling for no clear reason when they see you, remember, joy cannot be faked, and it doesn't need a reason. You might see a light in his eyes, not an obvious sparkle, but a warm, gentle glow, like someone seeing a familiar face after being away from home. It's a feeling of grateful to see you. Some glances are just polite. Some look at you, then quickly look away to hide their feelings. But there's also a different kind of gaze, the kind that sees you as the only thing that exists in the room. When a man is deeply drawn to you, his eyes will speak everything. It's not just looking, it's holding. He will linger a bit longer than usual, sometimes just 2-3 seconds, but in his mind, time stretches out infinitely. Science shows when someone's gaze lingers longer than normal, especially if their pupils dilate slightly, or if their eyes briefly scan your lips before returning, then very likely you are the emotional center of their world at that moment. He doesn't say it, but his body holds you there just a little longer. And sometimes a single look is more honest than 1,000 loving words. For someone suppressing their feelings, a gaze is the only place they allow themselves to be truthful. No words are more sincere than the way someone silently looks at you and isn't ready to look away. He looks at you as if trying to memorize your face, not to admire, but to hold on to something safe in a world that constantly changes. You won't notice it right away, but if you pay close attention, you'll see. He always finds a way to be just a little closer to you. Whether in a meeting, at a cafe, or in a crowd at a party, he somehow always ends up standing nearer to you than anyone else. Not in a pushy way, but with a quiet, intentional presence. He'll lean toward you when you speak, choose the seat next to you when he can. Even when you walk up, he instinctively adjusts his position as a reflex. That's what's called proximity, seeking the instinctive tendency to want to be close to someone we're emotionally connected to. Distance is no longer a physical thing, it's a silent declaration from a heart. I want to be near you. His body reacts like a compass, always seeking the way toward you, as if you are his true north. Some men don't have the courage to say, I love you, but every time you're in the room, he unconsciously leans in, stands closer, and finds reasons not to drift away. He's not the type who usually fumbles or gets nervous, but when he's around you, he suddenly becomes oddly clumsy. You speak, and he repeats your words, or suddenly talks faster. He adjusts his collar, glances at his phone screen, then sets it down without reason. His hands move constantly, or he even scratches his head, a very common behavior in men who feel, I should be more composed right now. According to physiology, intense emotions can trigger the adrenal glands, speeding up the heartbeat and prompting rushed body reactions, a primitive manifestation of the fight or flight response. But instead of running away, he stays, keeping all the awkwardness just to be near you a bit longer. He may be calm at work, a confident speaker, a quick problem solver, but in front of you, he's flustered like a boy feeling love for the first time. That's the response of someone who knows deep down that you have the power to hurt him because he's placed so much trust and care in you. He doesn't rush to show it, isn't loud or overly assertive, but if you're observant, you'll notice he always looks out for your comfort before his own. You carry a slightly heavy bag before you even ask. He silently reaches out his hand. You arrive a bit late to a meeting. The seat next to him is always open. The weather turns cold. He subtly shields you from the wind with his back, as if it's the most natural thing. Not because he's polite, not because he's trying to impress, but because, to him, you matter more than fatigue or his own habits. Psychology calls this subconscious protective behavior, one of the highest forms of care tied to deep emotion. People only react this way to someone they've placed in a safe, cherished space in their heart. These gestures are never showy. He doesn't need you to notice, doesn't need recognition from anyone. He simply can't stand still when he sees you inconvenienced. You once casually mentioned liking black coffee with a hint of cinnamon. A week later, he walks in with that exact coffee, hands it to you without saying anything else. Just a gentle look that says, "I noticed, but I don't need to say it." Or you shared about an interview, an important project, and the next day, he asks, "How did yesterday go?" Not out of politeness, but because he genuinely remembered. Human memory is selective. The brain only retains what's tied to emotion. And if someone remembers every little detail about you, it's not because they're good at remembering. It's because you are a memory they don't want to miss. He remembers what others forget. He remembers what you said when tipsy, the song you hate, the way you looked at someone the other day. And that means, even when you're not around, he's still thinking of you. You don't have to do anything, don't have to say much, but when you appear, he exhales just a bit like letting go of a long, tiring day. His shoulders relax, his voice softens, and his smile returns not because everything is okay, but because with you there, nothing feels as scary anymore. This phenomenon in psychology is called emotional anchoring. It means you're not just an acquaintance, you've become an emotional symbol in his mind, a symbol of safety, peace, relief, and trust. You don't need to walk in smiling, don't need to say a happy word, just your presence brings his spirit gently down to earth, like a leaf being caught by the breeze after a shaky journey. True emotion doesn't need polished words. When a man is genuinely moved by you, he doesn't need to confess because it's already clear in the way he greets you, looks at you, and reacts when you appear. You don't need to ask, don't need to test. Let your heart feel it because real emotions always leave echoes, not through words, but through energy. Maybe you've met someone like that, someone who always lights up when you walk into the room. Maybe you haven't realized it yet, but he's been quietly there, noticing every little thing, and feeling joy simply because you showed up. If you've ever experienced these signs from someone, share your story. You might help someone else realize they're being silently loved without even knowing. And if these words feel close to home, feel true, leave a like, share it with someone who needs it, and don't forget to follow for more deep psychological insights into love, emotion, and the connection between two souls.